So how did you like the video on Aristotle, the episode on Aristotle?
It was interesting.
How many people watched it? Okay, good, good. What did you think about affirmative action? Let me remind you, there is a short clip here.
In some societies, members of groups that have suffered discrimination or social and economic disadvantage are given special consideration when they apply for jobs or university admission. Some people favor such policies on the grounds that they can help bring about a more equal society. Others oppose such policies on the grounds that they are an unjust form of reverse discrimination. What do you think? Is it just or unjust to give preference to applicants who are members of groups that have been discriminated against?
Okay, let's vote on this. What did you think about the affirmative action? Do you think it's just or unjust to give preferences to minority groups that were in the past discriminated against? Who is for affirmative action? Please raise your hand. 2 people. How about against affirmative action? You didn't have the option C, just A or B, for or against. Okay, let's hear from the advocates.
Well, it's not just like your race, it's also like your social standing, because if you come from a poor community, you're not going to have well-funded schools, so therefore you're not going to get the attention that you need, or the better performing school or private school than you would if someone was privileged, hence white privilege. But so it's just to give minorities more of an equal chance to get what white people have always gotten.
To give minority equal chance. Okay, Emma, do you have any?
Kind of just capped up what I thought, really.
So the argument for affirmative action is, it's called the corrective. Yeah, the corrective of the educational background. Yeah, it gives an equal chance because somebody might be from the underperforming schools. Yeah, that was your argument. Well, let's hear from the opponents of the affirmative action.
Not a big fan of affirmative action simply because it advocates an acknowledgement in difference, if that makes sense. So, yes, there has been an obvious, like one side gets better treatment than the other, if you want to look at it like that. But the fact is, if you keep on going over and over the past, you never actually move on. I'm not saying to completely forget about the differences that were between white and black people, or any race for that matter, but you're never going to move on from it if you just continuously bring it up in everything.
So how would you formulate this argument? Stuck in the past, or you mentioned the division in the society that creates distinctions or divisions?
So
Divide society. But by mentioning this, you inadvertently, maybe purposefully, mentioned another argument for affirmative action, that the past was unjust.
yeah.
And one of the arguments for affirmative action that they use is to redress the past wrongs, to compensate for past wrongs. Anybody else would like to offer another argument for or against? Why do we have affirmative action other than corrective of the educational bias, compensate for the past wrongs. Is there any other reason universities use affirmative action?
Diversity.
Diversity. Okay, so now we need the critics. Aysen, you raised your hand. What's your criticism? Smile, you on camera. Smile, good enough.
I think Paloma also raised her hand.
What's your argument against affirmative action? Do you feel it's unjust for the white candidates who achieved the same scores as the minority candidates? Remember the case of Cheryl Hoffman? She wasn't admitted to Texas law school, although she scored higher than some of the minority candidates that were admitted. So she sued the Texas law school, and they said that, well, they need to create diversity. But would you feel that her rights were violated?
I think rather than aiming for diversity, you could aim for who fits the criteria academically, rather than like picking out certain people who fit social groups or different cultures.
Who fits the criteria? Okay. And what are criteria from? Where do we take the criteria for admission from? Are they up to us?
Normally by a professional that are with the college board.
So the criteria are not decided by the candidates. Yeah. So that means, is it up to the university to decide whatever criteria they want to use? So can we say that?
Isn't it settled by like a code of ethics? In a way?
Code of ethics.
Yeah, like they can't just pick based on like one certain criteria, like if one person like fulfills it, they get it. But like it's a variety of people can
It's
all
a
have
variety.
one
It's a
criteria
variety.
of the same.
What should be the university's criteria for admission? When you mention criteria, which criteria did you mean?
It shouldn't just be based on wealth.
Academic
should-
standards.
Academic standards. So, in other words, we are asking for the mission or the purpose of university. If you say that it should be academic standards, then you think that the mission or the purpose of the university is to develop students academically. So academic excellence, let's call it academic. Can you think of anything else? Is that the sole criteria of the university?
If you're active in the community.
Okay, so how would you phrase it? Community what? Involved. What else? Can you think of something else? Well, some big schools, big universities have athletic programs. Should that be part of the mission of the university? Or would you say, no, universities shouldn't have athletic programs. They should solely focus on academic excellence and community awareness.
I guess you could argue that they should have it because your body, like, okay, so if you only have programs that involve your mind, there's other
lawsuit based on their admission. They said that they can define the admission goals as they please. Because, and that diversity was always part of the admission goals. What is it to stop a private university from defining the admission goal, or mission, or purpose? And yet when Cheryl Hopwood was not admitted, she felt that her rights were violated. What do you think about this? Do you think that she was treated unfairly? Alama, why do you think so?
I just think it's unfair. Like, I don't know.
Why is it unfair?
If she's accomplished as much as somebody else that did get accepted just because they're like the opposite color,
Mm-hmm.
just to not get accepted for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense.
I guess she doesn't have a right to be at that specific university. Like, it's not,
It's not her right.
no, it's, first of all, there's plenty of other universities, and they're not forced to accept everyone who applies. So, I mean,
So the whole issue here is about what is the purpose, what is the mission of the university. Is it true that any university can define the mission or purpose as they want? Or is there anything natural about the purpose of education? Is there anything that, well, derives naturally from the fact that this is an educational institution? Can a Harvard University decide that their mission is to produce whiskey?
it's a university.
Then it wouldn't be, we would say, well, I mean, if you want to turn into a private business like this, that's fine, but you shouldn't be then treated as a university. So to a certain extent, a university, especially if it's a private university, can define their mission. But to a certain extent, we expect it to fulfill a universal mission of an educational institution. But if the university, to go back to you, Paloma, if the university defines its mission as increasing the diversity in the marketplace, as the Texas University wanted to do, they said, well, in the past, we didn't admit any minority students to our law school because law schools didn't hire any minorities. So why train them? But nowadays, we have a disproportionate number of white lawyers as against minority lawyers, and Texas is 40% minority, population-wise. So we need more minority lawyers. And therefore, even though white students score the same as the minority students, we want to hire minority students or admit minority students. What would you say to them?
I still think it's unfair.
Do they have the right to do it?
To like solely focus on minorities or.
No, reserve like a pool of places for the minority candidates. There are still white students admitted, but, well, what do you think about this? It sounds unfair, yeah?
Yeah.
To your mind, yeah? But why?
It's not equal opportunity.
It's not equal opportunity anymore. Mhm. But the Texas University would say, well, that's because there wasn't any equal opportunity in the past. And we want to redress the past's wrong. What would you say to that? Yeah?
The past is the past.
The past is the past?
Yeah, and today's
Today's today. What does it mean?
It means that.
Does it mean that you weren't the perpetrator of these wrongs in the past? Yeah?
Well, they, at least they understand that they were wrong, but I feel like they learned, and today's a different day. Now
Okay, so today's lecture on Aristotle, today's class on Aristotle is really about the purpose. Yeah, the purpose of social institutions, the purpose of the society, the purpose of life, which brings us to the next question. What's the purpose of life? What's the goal of life? You want to think about such an important question for half a minute? In Aristotle's time, the purpose was called telos. And the thinking according to purpose is called teleological thinking. Teleological. So let's think about the purpose of life. What's the purpose of life? What's the goal? What are your goals in life? Ultimate goal, not like graduate from this college and from another college and university and get $1 million job. I know that all of you are thinking about that, but ultimately, whatever your goals are, what is the ultimate goal?
I guess it would be happiness,
Happiness. Well,
which is pretty significant.
that's good, it's a broad
Yeah.
category.
Well, life's pretty broad too.
But life is pretty broad too. So, do you agree that this is all your purpose? What if somebody said, I don't want to be happy, I want to be rich?
If you're happy being rich.
What makes you happy?
Yeah, you would ask, well, why do you want to be rich? Yeah, and then the answer would be, well, because I could buy a lot of things, and these things would make me happy. What is the way to achieve this happiness?
Completely depends on the person. I feel like you just said, one person would be happy with wealth, but other people could be happy with just having a family and growing old with their significant other, and having children and watching them grow old and moving, like leaving the nest, so to say. Just maybe having a house. Having
Having a house.
would be a goal of life. Not being homeless.
Living the American dream.
Living the American dream.
I mean,
How do you define that?
The typical white picket fence, perfect family, great jobs, living in corporate America. But obviously not every life is fulfilled that way and everyone lives it differently.
Okay. How did Aristotle define happiness? He actually goes through many definitions of happiness. Remember, he says happiness, some people think happiness is pleasure. Well, remember utilitarians? They said happiness is pleasure and no pain. What do you think about this definition? Is that good? Would you take it? If somebody said you can have all the pleasure you want and no pain. Sure. Sure. What do you think? Aristotle says that would be the life of a grazing animal. That would be the life of a grazing animal, because animals just live for pleasure. Yeah, they want to avoid pain and live for pleasure. To go back to our previous definition, somebody says, I want to be rich. I just want to make a lot of money. Aristotle considers that definition too. He says, well, that would be kind of a slavery, yeah, because you would be addicted to making money, you would lose your freedom. You would be only wanting to make more and more money. So his concept of happiness, he says, it has to be something that springs from inside. It cannot be dependent on any outside factors. such as pleasure that comes from outside, or money that can be only made in the marketplace. It has to spring from your own character. Yeah. So his idea is that happiness has to be based on your own excellences of character. Okay, let's stop. Maybe.